And welcome inside the Backstage Pass TGIF. Always a good thing for the weekend. Just a couple of weeks out before Christmas now. And we're going to finish on December 21st with the shows here on the Backstage Pass, powered by the Sports Guys podcast.com. And of course, our new station out there, KKTC 99.9 True Country, and via the LMNOC, the app out there too to stream at 10 Mountain Time out there too. They'll catch all the replays of the shows and our syndicated stations out there. And of course, hightidecountry.net, presented by Bangtail Whiskey and our friends over at Honky Tonk, Texas. And pleased to welcome back in country music, a part of that royalty. And boy, he did it a couple of nights ago with that Grand Ole Opry debut. Walker Montgomery to the show. What's up, Walker?
Man, just hanging out. I'm currently sitting in a Love's parking lot right outside of Nashville. I went home for just for a little day trip back home to Kentucky and had to head on back. But I appreciate you having me on and appreciate you talking to me, man.
Oh, always, brother. Always good to meet you there in Nashville this past year at the CRS. Looking forward to doing it again, hopefully in February with the dates moved back this year too. But hey, let's talk about that. I mean, Dad's sitting right there. The other night, Uncle Eddie, dude, that had to feel good. This whole congratulations on doing it. I mean, you played your songs. You get to play a few things off the new EP, which we're going to talk about. But anytime you make a Grand Ole Opry debut, tell me everything about it.
Oh man, it was awesome. I mean, it was exhausting too. It's such a, and not even because you're doing so much, like media and stuff. It's such an emotional thing for somebody to, who grew up in it, especially. I mean, country music's our life. We don't have anything else. It's it's not like Dad was a plumber or a lawyer, and same thing with Eddie. It was just my whole life has been surrounded by that thing we call country music, and this Grand Ole Opry is right at the center of it. So being able to do that, it drains you emotionally, man. And I was luckily I didn't shed a tear on stage, but once I got off the stage, I was lucky my whole family was there. My grandparents, my sister, my mom and dad. Travis Denning, my new brother-in-law, that was his birthday, so he was out drinking somewhere. But as soon as I got off the stage, I was good. I was cool, calm, and collected. And then I saw my grandma crying, man, and it was over. It was waterworks from then on.
You get in there, and I got to do it for the first time, actually attend the Opry this past year at CRS, took a break and went down there, and amazing to see it. I mean, the mecca of country music, to stand in that center circle, and then to watch last night, they had the replay of they shot the Christmas of the Opry. I watched a little bit of that last night with Winona, and of course all the great singers, they had a part of that. But that center circle, I mean, it always means something to you when you went there as a kid, but to be standing up there as a performer now tends to give it a totally new meaning, right?
Man, it's totally different. And back when I started going, they've got like this LED light around the circle now, and it looks all, it's like a halo or something almost. But back then it was just wood. And I'll tell you what one of my favorite parts was, man. Dad and Eddie and I, we all have a very non-musical relationship, which I'm grateful for. I love it. Because it's just Dad and just Uncle Eddie. But being able to see them there walking backstage and stuff, I turned the corner earlier in the night, and Dad already had his cowboy hat on, and he was all dressed up and stuff, and he was just walking down the hallway and kind of looking around. And that was, I could tell he was just remembering all the stuff that happened to him in the 90s and stuff, and all the good times that he had. And that was really special for me to be able to just kind of see him fumbling through the past and remembering all these memories that, obviously he still lives in Kentucky. He's not at the Opry every other day. But I could tell that he was happy to be there and definitely had some fond memories of the Opry. But man, it's so hard to describe. And somebody asked me the other day about it, and I said, man, I'm sure that every new artist, who does their debut uses the term surreal. And I mean, that's a pretty powerful word, but I know, as soon as I got on that stage, I now know why. And because it really is just a surreal thing. You do the sound check and stuff, and that's when you step into the circle for the first time, and it's awesome. It's you're like, holy crap. But then once the crowd's out there, man, and you got the whole band and everything, it takes your breath away.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And I'll tell you this, you got to work that EP, and I love this EP
Mhm.
when it came out for you guys there in about the middle of September. And you bring it back that tribute to
Mhm.
what you mentioned, Dad, Eddie, were doing back in the day with 90s country. And there's so much, I mean, a song like Work to Do that just captivates country music fans out there for
Mhm.
something that they can resonate with. You got to be excited, one, about the EP, two, about
Mhm.
the song selection. And I understand Work to Do was one that you wrote.
Yeah, man, I wrote Work to Do 20 back in my drinking days, 2021. If I recall, I was hurting a little bit that morning after a late night out when we wrote it. But it was one of those songs that you wrote in like 45 minutes.
Hmm.
Somebody had the idea. I think Adam, who's a co-writer on it, had the idea, and it kind of came out, and then you went to the bar afterwards. But we played Work to Do and we played Tired of You at the
Hmm.
Opry, and people were asking me why I chose Work to Do because it's a good one to kick it off with. It's kind of mid tempo, up tempo, feel good song, and I wanted to play a song that I'd penned myself on the Opry stage, and
Hmm.
then we finished it off with Tired of You.
Hmm.
And Tired of You, it's the one that's done the best for us off the EP. And it's my favorite song off the EP, man. It's a beautifully written song. But we also wanted to kind of give them a little bit of both and kind of show off the kind of party side of my vocal with the Work to Do thing, and also kind of the love song side of my
Hmm.
vocal that we can do with the Tired of You song. But yeah, look, I mean, I would have gone out there and played the whole daggum EP, and then some of Dad's songs too. I would have stayed out there all night, but it was good to be able to get to play those two.
You mentioned his songs and how many the great contributions he made to country music, and country music was good to
Mm,
him, and he was good to it. When you look back at his songs and his catalog of songs, there's
mm,
got to be those top three that really stick out to you. And had you gotten them, that's one
mm.
question I was going to ask. Had you gotten to
Yeah,
play those some of his tunes on the Opry, what would you have chosen?
yeah. Well, look, country music's been mighty good to our family. I
Hmm.
mean, and luckily Dad and Eddie and Troy were able to contribute some themselves, and so look, I mean, I say God bless country music, and I mean it. But if I were to choose three of Dad's songs, I love the way you love me.
Yep.
Uh, it was his first number one,
Hmm.
so that song's got a special place in our family. Uh, Life's a Dance was always the song growing up that we had like a mural painted in our house of it said Life's a Dance on it. He
Hmm.
had this big guitar stand made out of wrought iron and stuff. It had Life's a Dance on it. That's always kind of been the family saying. So that'd probably be number two. And to close it out, you always got to play Sold.
Yeah.
It's just, I mean, I don't want anybody throwing tomatoes at me or anything for not playing Sold. But I'd say those three, man, especially Life's a Dance. Life's a Dance just coming from our family, and that being his first single that he ever released, and everything. It's got a special meaning.
You know what's so cool about it too, and I'll take a break here in a second, but what's so cool about, just seeing the industry and those shows that have come on television, such as Christmas the Opry, you see the CMA Fest each and
Mm,
every year just getting bigger and bigger after going through all the COVID stuff. And now I can't recall a time since probably, that 90s country when your dad was
mm,
killing it out there, that this industry has been this healthy with so much talent, coming from
yeah.
Nashville, not just on the singer side, but on the songwriter side too. It is
Mm,
amazing, this kind of floodgates that have opened now with this much talent in Nashville now. I mean, the overall health of this industry is really good.
yeah. Yeah, man. Well, I mean, I think the authenticity of a lot of artists nowadays are it's as strong as it's been in a long time. And yeah, I think a lot of artists are really proud of what they're doing, and they're doing what's true to them. And man, I mean, I love the stuff that I was cutting when I first moved to town, and they were really good songs, and they did really well for me. But the whole time, it was just kind of like, man, it's just you know I knew it wasn't exactly who I was,
Hmm.
and I was also 18. I didn't know who the hell I was. You gotta grow as a person, and luckily I was able to grow with country music, but not only when I was in the business, but obviously even before then. But no, man, there's some really good stuff coming out, and it's just country music's in a good place. I'm happy
Oh, it
about it.
is. No doubt, too. Very happy about it, too. We got to take a quick time out for our friends over at Bangtail Whiskey, official whiskey of the Backstage Pass. So get it for the holidays. Bangtail.com and, of course, easyliquor.com. Select Total Wine and Specs out there, too. Liquor stores. And make your favorite cocktail. Do it responsibly with our friends at Bangtail Whiskey. Also, honkytonktexas.us. Check them out for their concert lineup. More to come here with Walker Montgomery. Quick time out here. A lot more to talk about. Some work to do. Talk about the Work to Do album here on the Backstage Pass. Coming up here, quick time out of friends at Bangtail Whiskey, KKTC 99.9 True Country out of Taos, New Mexico, and Pueblo, Colorado, and powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. Coming back.
The Bangtail pour is comprised of a sweet corn mash base. The front has a subtle sweetness and not too sharp. It has notes of a medium char or white oak for a smoky flavor in the middle, and the tail has a super smooth and warm finish.
Go behind the scenes with some of the biggest artists in music today with the Backstage Pass, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. Join Brandon Morrill and his co-host Kirsty Krause as they talk to rising stars and legends about their music careers. Listen to their latest tracks and learn fun facts about the men and women behind the music you love. And be sure to tune into the Backstage Pass Monday through Friday from 3:30 to 6:30, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. And welcome into the Backstage Pass. And, of course, catch us on our syndicated station, KKTC 99.9 True Country out of Taos, New Mexico, and via the LMNOC streaming app, the broadcast company that runs that 6 stations up there. And great to be in Taos, New Mexico, and Pueblo, Colorado. Great country music market up here. Back here with Walker Montgomery, presented by our friends over at Bangtail Whiskey out there, too. I love this. Again, we talked so much about the EP, the title track of it, but I know you guys were going to release, I think it's coming up, an acoustic version of Tired of You. Is that on the 15th?
Yeah, December 15th, we're going to be releasing the acoustic version. Man, I always like acoustic versions. It's some people are always like, "Oh, you're just releasing something to release it," and I mean, any artist who denies that is lying. Obviously, you want to keep getting content out there, but it is one of those songs that I thought needed to be heard in a different way too. It's that special to me. And when you listen to the acoustic version, it's like a totally different song. We got a dobro solo in there and some lap steel and stuff like that. It's just a totally different kind of setup for that song. But it's man, I'm excited about it. We'll probably have a couple more acoustic songs coming out, beginning of the year as well.
I love that too. I think that also every song fantastic off this EP too. The title track we talked about, but leading off the EP, Lonely for a Living. Let's get a little backstory on that one too as well, because hey, again, 90s country feel to that one too.
Yeah, man, that song, I'm always trying to look at least one song on each EP that I do. I'm trying to find something that I've never really done before, that kind of takes me out of my comfort zone. Mm-hmm. That's what Lonely for a Living was all about. It had a little bit more sass to it than something I'd regularly cut. And but it's our show opener now. I mean, it's done well for us, but it definitely has that kind of Montgomery Gentry, early 2000s Montgomery Gentry vibe to it. And I had to pull a little Eddie sounding grunts out and stuff, but man, my buddy Trent Tomlinson was a writer on that song, and he sent it to me, and it was definitely one that was on the hot list until we went into the studio and cut it.
Yeah, I really did. And I tell you what, I loved Things That Break My Heart was another one on there too. That it was just another fantastic story told. You really did a great job of storytelling, which music is all about, because it just resonates with so many great listeners out there who appreciate and love country music. Tell us all about that one.
Yeah, man. Things That Break My Heart, it's a song that it's been told before, but I've never heard it be told that way. And that's about the best way I can describe. There's obviously heartbreak songs all over the place, but I've never heard it in a way that I keep doing it just because I love it. I love it because it breaks my heart. And whether it's a girl or your favorite football, I'm a Browns fan. So, I mean, it's like, it breaks my heart, but I keep coming back to it because I'm crazy or something, whatever it is. But it was definitely a unique perspective on it, and that's what turned me on to it.
Yeah, you see my cap, things that do break my heart, and there's the
Oh
Arizona
yeah, I mean
Cardinals fan.
you're a Cardinals fan. You're in the same boat, man. You know.
Hoping that 2024 is a little bit better year when it comes down to it. But yeah, fantastic enough that more than things can break your heart beside a relationship too.
Yeah.
Never again, one more time. Now this was a little bit of different side of you. I love the feel because you come back, you kind of lead off, you get that crescendo, you kind of build up. I mean, instrumentation takes off with this one, then it's just that roller coaster ride.
Yeah, man, we wanted something that people could two-step to and you know really bring out that honky tonk side of my music, and that we actually didn't find that song. I wasn't a writer on that song. I was actually going to go grab dinner with my producer Bart Butler, and we were going in the studio the next day, and we had not found an up tempo, you know, to kind of finish everything off. And he sent that one to me, and you know, I parked and listened to it, and I just texted back yes, and because I knew it was one that I knew it would fit my voice really well, and I mean, dude, it's just awesome live. You know, it's turned into our show closer, and it's just great. Yeah, every time you play it, you see people getting up and dancing and stuff, and that's why we recorded it, man. It's a fun song. We wanted people to have fun with it.
You know, you're so creative. I love the fact that you can come up with these ideas or have these personal stories. Of course, growing up in it does help the cause too. When you hear about dad telling stories of songwriting, but what do you enjoy? It's such a great process to either pen it yourself or step into a room and you know you've got 30 minutes renting that out for like a co-writer. I've got to be there. I've got to put two heads together.
Yeah.
Writing process, Walker.
Man, well, I think the most special thing for me about the writing process is when you get a good one, right? Because every songwriter, you don't go in and write a hit every single day. But it's just like working out, you know. It's not like every single day you have the best workout of your life or anything like that. But when you do, it's something that you remember, and those are the songs that you're like, oh man, I'm cutting this one, or you know, thank God I didn't cancel this ride or whatever it is. You know, it's when magic strikes in the writing room, it's a great thing. And you know, I've got my little crew that I write with a lot of, you know, just some buddies of mine, Jack Hummel, Kalen Robertson, are my two go-tos, and they're fantastic. But it's always a special thing when you get something that you know you're gonna like. I'm a melody guy. Jack's a lyric guy. Kaylin is just more talented than the both of us combined, so she helps out a lot. But no, man, it's always a special experience. And even if you don't get the best song in the world, you know, you got your crew and you're hanging out. It's just a good day.
No doubt, too. And I tell you what, you know, as we close the year, you know, this year, exciting times for you riding the wave of this EP and the strength. Tell me what you're most looking forward to, some goals as you guys go into next year. I mean, obviously the touring is as strong as it's ever been now with the floodgates back open again. Give me some of those goals and aspirations for 2024.
Yeah, man. Well, look, the reason that I do country music is so I can tour. Yeah, I mean, that's when I first moved to Nashville. I grew up in Kentucky, right? Dad never lived here, and Troy was the only one who ever moved here. So, I mean, on the Nashville industry side, I was as green as it gets, but I knew how to tour pretty well just because we'd go on the road with Dad or Eddie or whatever it is. So, I mean, that was like that's always just been part of my life. And that's why during the wintertime when there's no shows, I'm just, you know, I'm going stir crazy in my house. But no, I mean, the touring is the payoff. Going to do the shows and going to play your music for people, that's the payoff. So for 2024, that's the main goal. I just love being on the road, sharing my music with people. But we're also going to release. I mean, dadgum, we got a lot of songs in the tank. So we're going to start in January, maybe release another acoustic song, and then we've got some duets that we're going to put out, and then we're probably going to put out a whole nother EP. So got music and shows coming up, and this is going to be a good year.
Looking forward to it, no doubt about it. Again, work to do. from Walker Montgomery out there, make it a stocking stuffer, get it across all the digital platforms, iTunes gift cards. Make a pretty good gift out there too, and wherever you download or stream music. We're coming back. Final segment coming up here. It is the Backstage Pass powered by the Sports Guys podcast.com. And of course, presented by Bangtail Whiskey. You can check us out 10 Mountain Time every night. Streamed out there, syndication, KKTC 99.9 True Country in Taos, New Mexico, and up into Colorado. Also, hightidecountry.net. Final segment with Walker. And yes, sports will be a part of that conversation coming up here. We'll take a quick time out. Coming right back. Stay tuned.
The Bangtail pour is comprised of a sweet corn mash base. The front has a subtle sweetness and not too sharp. It has notes of a medium char or white oak for a smoky flavor in the middle, and the tail has a super smooth and warm finish.
Go behind the scenes with some of the biggest artists in music today with the Backstage Pass, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. Join Brandon Morrill and his co-host Kirsty Krause as they talk to rising stars and legends about their music careers. Listen to their latest tracks and learn fun facts about the men and women behind the music you love. And be sure to tune into the Backstage Pass Monday through Friday from 3:30 to 6:30, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. And welcome into the Backstage Pass. And back here, Walker Montgomery, final segment here, KKTC, True Country, 99.9, Taos, New Mexico, LMNOC, streaming app out there, 10 Mountain Time, and hightidecountry.net, presented by Honky Tonk Texas and our friends over at Bangtail Whiskey. Next week, some great shows. Troy Cartwright coming by, an artist that you'll have to know. Dasha will stop by. Charlotte Morris, also Mike Myerson of the group Heartland. Yeah, they got back together. Big hit back in the day, too. They got a new single called No Tomorrow, which is fantastic. We'll talk to Mike about that and a whole lot more as we count down to Christmas coming up here in just a few weeks. All right, I got to ask you about the my team's off, so we cannot lose this week. We had a pretty good win over Pittsburgh. 3-10 totally sucks. Now, we'll say this. The Jaguars lost Trevor Lawrence. You guys have a home game this week. Now, there's still that outside shot at a playoff with, 5 weeks to go in the season.
Yeah.
Give me the feeling of the Browns at this game this weekend.
Man, hey, look, I'm glad we got Joe Flacco. I'm saying that. But no, man, I saw something that they're going to choose on Sunday whether Trevor's going to play or not. So, knowing the Browns luck, he's probably going to play and have the game of his life. But no, I think if we win 3 games, we'll be in. Okay. But we got the Bears, and then we got somebody else that I was looking at, and I can't remember who it is. But look, hey, I mean, luckily most of the work was done already in the beginning of the year. So if we can just hold on, we'll be happy. But yeah, I mean, look, man, it's just, I mean, we're 7-4 or whatever it is. It's better than going 0-16. So I'm still happy about it.
No doubt about it, too. Looking forward to some good games over the next few weeks. You mentioned that, too. Great to have the home games there with Jacksonville, the Bears, and then at Houston. Now, Houston's much improved this year, too.
That's true. But, God willing, we'll get it done.
And then I don't know if Aaron Rodgers probably won't be back on the 28th with the Jets at home. But, hey, 3 out of the 5 at home, and you finish at Cincinnati, too, looking at that schedule right there. So, pretty favorable. But I will say between the 8-4 Jaguars and you guys being 7-5, there's got to be something – has to give, because the loser of this one, not to say the total shot is out of it, but the wild card picture doesn't look more clear. It's pretty bleak after this week if you don't win this key matchup. Yeah,
it's look, it's been a wild year, man. I'm telling you, it's not been I'm glad I didn't bet on anything this year, because I would have lost it.
That's what I did too. Like I said, my Cardinals have lost a few dollars. Yeah. Well, we got my quarterback back, so hopefully with the last 4 remaining games or so. And I'll tell you, a game I'm keeping my eye on, just like America is Sunday night in Dallas. This Eagles-Cowboys game is going to be somebody's going to get the outside shot for that bye. Yeah. And then this could be, I'm going to say, clear path to a Super Bowl, but that Cowboy-Eagle game is going to be pretty good Sunday night.
Man, I'm hoping the Cowboys win. I think if Dallas won a Super Bowl, America would go insane. I just think it would be awesome, man.
It'd be fun. And I tell you, one of the conflicting reports today that came out is switching gears to a little bit of Major League Baseball. But I tell you, it's like, where is the best player in the game, Shohei Ohtani? Where's he going to go? Now, he's not going to the Angels, but I read today, could be Blue Jays. His mind will be made up today. Those guys never – but it's crazy, the money going around in professional sports, especially Major League Baseball.
It's nuts, and nobody goes to the games until October. That's the thing. It's wild. But my mom and I went up. Yeah, I get we're Cleveland. I mean, we're Browns fans, right? So we just kind of support the other Cleveland teams. We're not NBA fans, but we went up to a Cleveland baseball game, and I mean, it's like a ghost town.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it was a great time, but it's still it's. Look, I love baseball. I've always loved baseball, always will. But you know, being from Kentucky, it's kind of in a no man's land. You either get Cincinnati, you get Cleveland, or I guess some people in the Western Kentucky choose St. Louis. It's you know, it's you don't really have a team.
Well, I tell you, hey, speaking of spending, boy, them Cincinnati Reds over $80 million on some free agent players, and I'm like, hey, you know, this is pretty cool to see some of those mid-market teams or smaller market teams like Cincinnati and Cleveland, kind of really the Reds right now spending some money because at some point you build it through player development and the draft. But Nick Kroll and their camp, it's good to see the Reds out spending a little money.
Well, Cincinnati's a cool town, man. Have you been to that ballpark before?
I need to go, brother. Well, I went to
Great
the
American.
Went to the old one. I got to go to the new one.
Yeah, it's got a certain charm to it. You know, it's you know, it's on the river and stuff. It's the same thing with Bengal Stadium. They changed the name of that. I can't remember what it is. But no, man, it's a good little, you know, they've got the strip where like the tin roof and stuff is, all the bars right next to them both. It's a cool little spot.
I love it too. And I got to get up there to see a Bengals game and of course a Cincinnati Reds game too. All right, with the holidays coming up, give me some of the Christmas traditions at the Montgomery household.
Oh, dude, we're not. You know, the same stuff came up during Thanksgiving. You know, we're not like a huge tradition family. You know, we're not throwing like backyard football games or anything, or playing music around the campfire or whatever it is. We usually try to spend as much time with family. My grandma Nene and Mama Crystal, they cook, and Dad'll do the turkey or whatever it is, and my granddad and I'll sit there and watch football all day and stuff. But it you know, it's our first Christmas with Madison, my sister, being married to Travis Denning, who I know you know. So I guess that they're going to come up to Kentucky and then they're going to go down to Georgia or whatever it is. I don't know. I'm staying out of it. I know I'm going to be in Kentucky from like the 21st to the 27th, and then I got to go back to work, man. But look, Christmas time's always great. It's always just good to be, you know, Nashville is where I live and Kentucky's home. So being able to be back in Kentucky for whatever holiday it is, it's always good, man.
Well, brother, I tell you what, it's really good about country music is when we have names like you in it and the family name continues to grow. And hey, congratulations on this EP. Work to do, which is across all the digital platforms, all the contributions you're making to country music, kind of following those dreams, brother. Looking forward to taking every step of the way with you into 2024. Hope to see you at the Country Radio Seminar in late February, first day of March. And always good to catch up. Tell your dad I said hello. Thanks for all that he's done for my brand, your family. Tell Travis I said hi, Trent, the whole family, cousin, your Uncle Eddie, and brother. Y'all keep just like I said, mashing away because it is a fantastic sound that you have in carrying on the music tradition in the Montgomery household. Thanks for being with me.
Sounds good, buddy. I appreciate you.
You got it. Walker Montgomery here, the Backstage Pass Work to Do, the EP across all the digital platforms. Go download and stream if you have not already. We're back next week. Charlotte Morris on the show. Troy Cartwright, Dasha, Mike Meyerson from the group Heartland, presented by our friends at Bangtail Whiskey and Honky Tonk Texas, KKTC True Country 99.9 in Taos, New Mexico via the LMNOC streaming app out there too. Listen to the best country music. We played Walker this morning. You may hear it again out there too as well on True Country.
I love it.
And of course, hightidecountry.net. See you guys next week, Monday on the Backstage Pass. Until then.